Hello everyone, in this video, I'll be translating and summarizing the latest Urdu broadcast by Moeed Pirzada to make it accessible for our English-speaking audience. Let's go through the key developments and insights in Moeed Pirzada's words. When we look at the former Prime Minister of Pakistan, Mr. Imran Khan, his imprisonment, the solitude, the solitary confinement he is subjected to, efforts are being made to make it even more difficult and severe. Through a court and an anti-terrorism court, or ATC, he is being forced to present himself via video link for the trial that will start from October 1st. The entire preparation to stop the process in the Adiala jail court, where Imran Khan used to appear physically, is underway. On the other side, former Prime Minister Imran Khan has written an open letter to the current Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of Pakistan, Mr. Yahya Afridi, highlighting the recent circumstances and trying to make him aware of his responsibilities. This situation is also before me. Meanwhile, we see former US President Donald Trump, during his media interactions in Britain, openly revealing the difference of opinion and conflict between him and British Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer on the Gaza and Palestine issue. We also observe the fierce and terrifying war Israel is waging, continuing the expulsion of Palestinians from Gaza City. Israeli and American newspapers claim that there is a significant difference of opinion between Israel's Prime Minister and his security establishment. The security establishment believes that Prime Minister Netanyahu is prosecuting this war and conflict as a commander-in-chief, but is making many mistakes, which is causing Israel substantial harm worldwide. All these developments are before me. Besides these recent developments, I had promised to present a detailed statement and analysis about the legislation being passed in the US concerning Pakistan. But before that, while pushing all these aside, I want to move toward a debate that has gripped the Pakistani mind intensely over the past 24 hours. Yes, that debate relates to a one-time agreement between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia, known as the Mutual Strategic Defense Pact, which has sparked an enormous debate inside Pakistan. There is much misunderstanding in this debate, and things are being misunderstood. I have prepared some points, and if you allow me, I will present them below. I will try to clarify my point of view. It's a complicated subject, so forgive me if I fail to explain well. The central point of the debate inside Pakistan is this. The Saudi bill is ultimately about the irresponsible rogue actions of Israel, which have resulted in serious threats to Saudi Arabia and Arab monarchies. Therefore, Pakistan has stood behind Saudi Arabia's defense by joining the coalition. Pakistan and Israel have come face to face, and Pakistan is fulfilling its responsibilities. People discuss this in various ways. Some say Pakistan went there for Al-Aqsa. Others say it is Pakistan's strategic interest. Terms like full-spectrum usage, deterrence and economic advantages are being used. There is a very intense, almost fulminating debate happening. At least 1/5 of those engaged in this debate on social media are employees of government institutions or those hired to present the state's position. A few days ago, I showed a news report from India about how more than 6,000 children have been hired by ISPR, Inter-Services Public Relations, for information warfare training, and many batches have been trained over the last 2 years. Thousands are active on Twitter, Facebook and TikTok, presenting the government's or state's stance. All the narrative shaping and debate are heavily influenced by these paid employees or government officials in social media teams. Otherwise, many well-meaning, substantive, educated and responsible people who do not have this inside knowledge are being misled and misunderstanding the situation, providing incorrect interpretations regarding Israel and Saudi Arabia. Now, why is this happening? Over the last 30 months, 3 mind-shaping, mind-transforming events have occurred that successfully changed the thinking of the Pakistani public, intellectuals and media. The first event was on May 9th, 2023, when an unusual incident occurred. Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, or PTI, attacked Pakistan's establishment, the institutions of national security, namely the army. The second event was the tension and brief war between India and Pakistan between April 21st, 2025 and May 10th, 2025. The third event is the Mutual Strategic Defense Pact between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia. About May 9th, 2023, Pakistan's largest political party was so disoriented that it allied with the enemy by attacking the national security institutions. Attacking the army means attacking Pakistan itself and the future of the people. Imran Khan and his allies attacked this future, a mind-transforming event that changed everything. The second event involved conflict with India. India attacked Pakistan, reviving the intrinsic existential fear of India inside Pakistanis. Now, Pakistan's joining the Saudi Defense Pact is linked to defending Al-Aqsa, Saudi Arabia, and Muslim countries against the atrocities happening in Palestine, especially the massacre in Gaza. Israel is cruel and terrifying, wanting to create a greater Israel, a plan already published repeatedly on social media. In this, the Pakistani army and state have stepped in to block the path of greater Israel by entering the coalition. This is the picture being built up on social media. A while ago, someone wrote a book about Pakistan called Allah, America and the Army, which mentions 3 triggers. I say, let's make it 4 triggers for Pakistani political minds. First, India, the enemy, an existential threat. Second, Islam, our identity as Muslims. Third, the army, our answer to these threats. And fourth, America, whose favor we need, but who is also our enemy. If you play these 4 triggers skillfully, you can control Pakistan's collective political consciousness. Over the last 30 months, continuous plays have happened on all 4 triggers. The army attacked, conflict with India, alliance with Saudi Arabia, and challenging America and Israel. Now, a little historical context. In February 1945, when World War II was nearing its end, May and June 1945 saw Germany's defeat and surrender. A very important meeting happened on the American warship USS Quincy between then US President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, or FDR, and King Abdul Aziz Al Saud of Saudi Arabia. At that time, it was clear that Germany and Japan were defeated or soon to be. The war in Europe was ending with the Allied forces advancing rapidly. Japan had lost most of its occupied territories. The post-war order had to be established, and on the USS Quincy, FDR and King Abdulaziz met to decide the future relationship between the US and Saudi Arabia. The decision was that the future relationship would be based on 2 things. First, the US needed an uninterrupted, sustained supply of oil from the Middle East to prosecute wars and maintain power. This was vital as oil's importance became clear during the war. Second, the Saudi royal family needed support to maintain stability in the kingdom, and their challenges were not from Israel, but from within the region. The meeting also touched on the issue of Jewish immigrants coming to Europe, with FDR asking Saudi Arabia for help. But King Abdulaziz was cautious and did not fully commit. He criticized some aspects and insisted that Germany should pay war reparations. But the principal thing is that they say our regime, Saudi Arabia's ruling regime, needs protection from America. And they want protection against Iran. They want protection against Iraq. They want protection against Yemen. They want protection. Within eastern Saudi Arabia, wherever there could be insurgency, meaning political turbulence in the region, they need protection over that as well. This is the pact that was decided between Saudi Arabia and America in February 1945. And since then, this pact has been continuously ongoing. 55 years have passed. 25 years of the 20th century have gone by. 80 years of the 21st century. This compact has been continuously held. Now you see, big challenges have come in between. It is very important to keep that in mind. In 1979, the insurgents, who were from Yemen and eastern Saudi Arabia, took over the Grand Mosque in Mecca. This siege lasted several days, weeks. In Pakistan, innocent people were told that Pakistan's SSD commandos had gone and had cleared the Kaaba. But actually, Pakistan's SSD commandos had no role in it. French elite commandos were brought in, Americans were also helping, and this is called the Grand Siege, the seizing of the Grand Mosque. Then see, on the very day of the attack, imagine the mindset of Pakistanis at that time. When the attack happened in 1979, Radio Pakistan, at 11 o'clock in its bulletin, said that Israel had attacked the Kaaba and Israeli commandos had taken over the Kaaba. Worldwide chaos erupted in Pakistan. In Pakistan, a crowd gathered spontaneously. Before anyone could realize where the crowd was headed, they made their way towards the American embassy. At that time, diplomatic enclaves and so on were not established. The Pakistani crowd reached the American embassy and set it on fire. 4 people died, including 1 or 2 American Marines. This entire story is documented. You can check it, right? Reality and the Pakistani mindset. In 1996, in Khobar barracks, Saudi insurgents, who were rebels, carried out a truck bombing. I think 19 American Marines died in that attack. At that time, American forces were stationed in Saudi Arabia to defend Saudi Arabia. After that, Americans decided that their troops would no longer remain inside Saudi Arabia and withdrew them. Before that, in 1989, there was the siege of Kuwait when the entire Arab world was alarmed because Saddam Hussein and Iraq occupied Kuwait. American forces came, removed Saddam Hussein and dealt a terrible defeat to Iraq. Even then, the threat was that Iraq and Saddam Hussein might harm Saudi Arabia. Pakistani troops were also stationed in Saudi Arabia, and probably American troops were present in Saudi Arabia as well at that time. I'm telling you all this because the challenges Saudi Arabia faces are quite different. They are not related to Israel at any stage. In 2010, when President Obama introduced a new strategic paradigm where he said pivot to Asia, he said our real challenge is not in the Middle East. In fact, they want to move away from the Middle East. Obama thought that the heavy American dependence on Israel and the whole paradigm built around Israel playing a big strategic role for America is entirely flawed. So, American power wants to move toward the real challenge, which is China, East Asia and the relationship with India and China. That's what pivot to Asia means. When the pivot to Asia happens, Saudi Arabia and other Arab monarchies get very worried, but along with this, 2 or 3 other events also happen, which increase the Arabs' troubles. The Arab Spring unleashes, about which Saudi intelligence and establishment think that the American liberal establishment is pushing it from behind. Especially when Hosni Mubarak in Egypt was not bailed out and the crowd removed Mubarak, forcing him to step down, the Saudi establishment and monarchy became very unnerved. As a result, Saudi Arabia and its allies, principally North America, ended the government of Mohammed Morsi and brought back the Egyptian army under General Sisi. The rest is history. In 2015 again, when the so-called Obama administration signed the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, the US-Iran nuclear treaty, it became clear to them that the American mindset was to engage Iran, end tensions with Iran, and reduce the Arab regimes and monarchies' dependence. The anxiety and tension among the Arabs, especially Saudi Arabia, began to increase rapidly. In 2019, when Saudi oil installations were attacked and fires broke out, oil output was shut down for many days. America was expected to play a role but didn't. The Yemen war began in 2015 and continued till 2021. America did not fulfill its expected role. During this entire period, MBS or Mohammed bin Salman became increasingly important. Whenever MBS met Americans, the discussions were never about Palestine, the two-state solution, or Israel. Their concern was that they wanted solid, foolproof guarantees for their security. They were repeatedly disappointed because they felt Americans did not properly understand their predicament and challenges. So, regarding Pakistan, the discussion of needing Pakistani guarantees or presence is actually very old. Back in 2015, when MBS assertively demanded Pakistani troops in Yemen, it wasn't Nawaz Sharif, the Prime Minister, who refused, but rather the Pakistani military high command. After, some long meetings, they decided not to send troops to Middle East conflict zones. The Pakistani army is not a mercenary force that would become part of a Saudi Arabia-Kuwait conflict. Nawaz Sharif's government was taken to Parliament, and honestly, if politically pressured, Nawaz Sharif might have committed forces in 2015. Now, whenever forces are committed, it's quite clear that Saudi Arabia has wanted for the last 10 years for Pakistan to play an expanded role in Saudi Arabia's defense. The resistance, though, has come from Pakistan's military. I strongly suspect that if Imran Khan's government was still there, and Saudi Arabia pressured in a similar way, they would not have refused. The Pakistani military leadership, under General Asim Munir, has now decided that Pakistan should engage in such a mutual defense compact with Saudi Arabia. Now that the engagement has happened, you probably noticed some backlash, but not much, really. There has been no detailed critical analysis regarding Israel, India or America on this matter yet. But one backlash did come when Ambassador Jalmi Khalilzad tweeted, slightly mentioning that this is consequential, but suspecting that Pakistan's missiles and perhaps nuclear warheads might be involved, which could pose a threat to Israel or America. This, of course, created a bit of a stir in the UN. Since then, various Pakistani spokespersons have explained that there are no nuclear commitments involved and that Pakistan has no feud with Israel. Even a Saudi official told Reuters news agency recently that this development is a consequence of a certain event, the Israeli strike on Doha. He said it's not linked to any one country. This is a development that had been progressing for a long time. I also told you earlier that when Shahbaz Sharif went to Saudi Arabia in March 2024 and March 2025, The talks were about expanding the defence relationship, including Pakistan's expanded role. An interesting point is Ahmed Qureshi, whom you know is close to the establishment and was connected to Pakistani TV as an anchor and commentator, a very intelligent, pro-military and pro-establishment person. He is explaining on Twitter that this has nothing to do with Israel, but relates to Iran or something else. However, Dr. Rabia Akhtar from Howard University's Welfare Center published a paper in academic language saying the same thing Ahmed Qureshi said, that this is not related to Israel. It is a large-spectrum deterrence without nuclear umbrella involvement. Pakistan's military does not want the impression that Pakistan is acting against Israel professionally. But the common man may think otherwise, creating questions. Why has this mutual defense agreement happened now? It is so the common man thinks this happened because of Israel, threatening Saudi Arabia, al-Muqaddas and the Muslim world, so Pakistan is playing its role there. This was an opportunistic moment that was cashed in. Otherwise, decision-makers on both sides are clear they did it for mutual benefit. Saudi Arabia's benefit, as I explained, is that they always have a regional fear. Could be Iran, Yemen or political turbulence within their own population. Their problem is not Israel, but if the impression is this agreement happened due to Israel, it is a very convenient opportunity to cash in. For Pakistan, this means increased leverage and enhanced internal legitimacy of the regime. Pakistan's regime's legitimacy and acceptance have increased, much like after the war with India. Likewise, now it has increased a lot. Obviously, money will come, funds will come, and Pakistan's leverage role in the Middle East will grow. Since the Saudi royal family has a strong relationship with America, especially with Trump, Pakistan will also be heard more in Washington's matters. But currently, what is being said on Twitter is that Pakistan has challenged America and Israel. Now, looking at this carefully, a very interesting tweet I saw by a person named Umar Asif, not sure who he is, says, General Asim will achieve great success if Netanyahu or any minister gives a statement against Pakistan. People interpret this as possibly an equation where Pakistan will ask Netanyahu for something. No, but if such a situation arises where Netanyahu or a smart minister issues a statement against Pakistan, it will be a huge political gain for Pakistan internally, because the mindset inside Pakistan is that every situation is used for political advantage. I want to ask some questions to all of you. Many of you may not believe what I'm saying. I believe a significant percentage won't believe it. Can a Pakistani regime so dependent on America's goodwill challenge America and Israel's design in the Middle East, supported by the entire West? General Asim Munir's establishment spends nearly $4 million annually on 3 different lobbies to improve optics, public relations, and maintain Washington relationships. Can they afford to challenge Israel and America in the Middle East? After all the deals made, the DHE deal, cryptocurrency deals, mineral deals, and even recommending Donald Trump for the Nobel Prize, the strongest point for General Asim Munir is that he had a 1-hour lunch meeting with Donald Trump. Since then, his importance and stature have risen greatly. The news is that he is now visiting Britain and will return to America again. Those who see that Pakistan has challenged Israel and gone there for al-Muqaddas, I request you to grow up. That wraps up our translation of Moeed Pirzada's video. I hope this English version helped you understand his message better. Please like, share and subscribe to Awami Lens to help our community grow. Don't forget to leave a comment below and let me know what you thought of this effort.